and all that.
I feel fabulous when I dress up. It really changes you.
I'm trying to present myself as a fantasy creature.
I get called faggot, freak.
I don't understand why a person has to get offended because we want to look like this. Are we killing anybody?
A lot of the people in clubs, like, especially like drag queens and artists and all these different exhibitionists that are out there, that's the only place they can let it out, because if they let it out in regular society, you know, people can't deal with it. So it keeps them in kind of an underground setting. And it's definitely, you know, it's the circus world of the night. You put off this image, you know, of a woman, or you put off this image of a man, this feminine or this masculine thing, and people accept you as that. I mean, everything's about image, you know. You have to make people see you the way you want to be seen. When I was young, I always thought I was a little girl. I was just a regular little girl. Like, I never understood at school, you know, like, why they were referring to me, like, as a boy or this or that or anything. I was just like, you know, but I'm not. Don't you understand? I remember I ran in the kitchen once, like when I was 15, and my brother, I had on these blue stockings and this electric, like, velvet blue, like, crushed coat, and this red wig that was all tangy and up to here, and I ran in there, I stood in front of the fridge, I was like, ta-ta, look at me, and they were like,
You make my heart wanna sing. You got me up. You got me up. I'm like
women don't really use the elements that the society's putting out there for them to take advantage of.
Well,
And
they can
not to
because
look beautiful, but to, like, quote unquote look more beautiful.
But they can because
and drag queens do take, let me say, drag queens do take that element, and we work with it. We do the makeup thing, we do the wigs, we do the tight corsets, we do the bras. Women today don't dress up like that. They're not taking those elements and putting them to work. I want to look like her.
got me. Come on now. Hey. Hey. You got me.
The way I would classify different gender outlaws, I would say that a drag queen dresses up mostly for fun and for entertainment purposes. A transsexual is someone who desires to be a woman, or may already have become a woman. And a transvestite or a crossdresser usually does it for some kind of kicks.
I didn't start off actually doing drag, even though when I was a punk rock, I wore makeup, skirts. Then for me, it became a little bit more serious because I felt like a woman. To be quite honest, like, if I look at myself in the mirror after a shower, I'm like, oh boy, it's like a big hassle for me. It's not like something I'm happy with.
definitely gonna need a sex change sometime. I think it's gonna be a rebirth. It's gonna be wonderful, you know. I can stop worrying about tucking my penis and everything like that. It'll be great, because the penis is really annoying in my clothing, especially like hiding it in a dress, a really tight dress when you go out at night. Having a sex change is really, I just want it, just for me. I want it because I've always visualized that I have a pussy. You know, a vagina is on my body between my legs, and, you know, it isn't there, so I'm gonna put it there, and, you know, I don't care what it takes or how I have to do it. I'm gonna get it.
I believe it's a more difficult life for a transsexual than it is for a drag queen, definitely, because a transsexual has to prove to be a woman to society, whereas a drag queen is part-time. I've lived with one for 2 years now. It's going on 3, and I've been with TJ from the beginning. I mean, when I met TJ, he was a boy, but he was very feminine and very like drag queen club orientated kind of person. And as we evolved together. I mean, sometimes I feel it's like even harder for me with her going through this sex change than it is, you know, probably for her, because I mean, she's doing it, but then I have to see like my best friend going from a man into a woman, you know?
To TJ, Diva Supreme. My mother was married 8 times by the time I was 14. And I don't even remember all those men. There's no way. I totally blocked it out. I have 2 brothers. I have a twin. We're very close, my brothers and I. We're all young. You know, I'm 19, turning 20. And they're pretty accepting of me, you know. They're totally heterosexual. They're butch. They live in the Midwest. That's fine. They can do anything they want with their life. They can do what they want, and I'll do what I want. We'll just love each other. My daily life consists, you know, I live at this cool hotel called Hotel 17 here. It's a very family unit here. There's lots of club kids, drag queens, transsexuals. It's a transient hotel. Actually, the mattress in the hotel say, for Hollywood types and transient chic. I think that's hot. If you ask me, it's a place where the women are glamorous and the boys become men.
A lot of the younger kids that come here end up liking the hotel so much. They came from like dysfunctional families where they weren't that accepted, and they come into an atmosphere where, you know, they're not only accepted, but they're actually admired and celebrated.
There was a great family atmosphere here at Hotel 17. Everybody seems to know each other. They all stick together. They all know what they want. That is to be themselves and be fabulous and, you know, just do their own thing.
I feel like we get the creme de la creme of drag queens here. We get the ones that are really like doing something with their lives, and usually they're dancers or singers or makeup artists, you know, things like that. We don't really get the kind of trashy ones.
I heard that, like, you know, Hotel 17 here, they don't really give rooms to, you know, it's got to be kind of cool to be here and stuff. So I gigged up. I put on leather hot pants. No, I put on leather pants and a leather vest and painted my face, and I was bald at the time. And I threw on rollerblades, and I came down like Miss Rollerina down 17th Street off 3rd Avenue, and the manager was standing right on the step, and he saw me. And he's like, that's the girl.
Older residents, I think they're sometimes shocked and confused by drag queens, and I think a lot of times they really don't even know who's real and who's not real.
Sometimes, you know, you can't tell the difference which is a man, which is a woman. You know, they dress up different. With wigs on their head, they look like a woman. And they're facts, they're not women.
When I seen a man dressed as a girl, I don't mind that. I laugh. I say hello to them. That's it.
I was one time in Florida, and I went in a nightclub, and they had those, also those lesbians with fags, and I thought there was a girl, so I was young, and you know, I didn't know. But then I find out, oh, I was sick for a week.
Rust to dust, us to them. Change your mind, change your skin. Cash your check, change your sex. Day to night, dark to light.
Well, I work for an investment bank. They are very conservative, and it's the kind of place where they're concerned with everybody doing a good job, and we don't socialize together, so that people's sexual orientation or what they're doing outside the office really doesn't come into play at all. The people I work with don't really know that this is what I do. They're aware that I have certain theatrical interests and that I act and that I do a lot of benefit work, but they're not really aware that it's my wearing a dress most of the time. Putting on a dress and going out and picking up men, or, you know, having a romantic evening dressed like that isn't something that's on my agenda. It isn't something I'm interested in. And that's part of the difference between being an actor or a performer and being a transvestite, or of course a transsexual, which is, you know, different again. But to the person on the street, those three categories probably all look like one big one. If my boss saw me right now, well, he would never recognize me.
Well, he'll probably say you look fabulous.
He would say, yes, he would say, exactly. Well, my boss would, because he's really cute. But, and I've seen his wife, and, if my boss saw me right now, he would never ever recognize me. But if he found out who I was, he would be shocked speechless.
The drag or the transgender scene undergoes changes. These are just signs of the times. When we were growing up, we didn't have the opportunity to really come out to our families. We didn't have the opportunity to really dress up and be who we want to be or be who we can be. So we sort of hide in the closet until we're much older, we've gone to school, we have our job, and then we began to explore. Young people these days, they're more bold than we are. Back when we started doing this, there was no way that we could really earn a living by doing what we do in drag. You know, these days, the so-called downtown girls can make a career of what they do.
Runway is it's a special art in a way. It's like Vogue. It's like the 90s Vogue. I kind of go into a different world. I put myself in the audience and I look at myself. And at that point they look at you, you're giving them anything you want to give them, and whatever you give them is all they see. I think I have to remember that I wasn't born a woman on the outside. And sometimes I think in a lot of cases people see you as more of a woman than a woman in the real sense, because you're over-exaggerating this woman, you know, and you're putting more effort into being a woman. You're wearing more makeup, not too much. You take more time with your hair. You make your body look more real. You know, you're not taking for granted something that a woman, quote, could take for granted by being a woman, because you have to play that role. So in a lot of ways, I think a lot of people see me as a better woman than even a woman.
I think drag queens have an incredible will to survive and to persevere. Gay people, for the most part, can blend if they want to. They can get by. Drag, in and of itself, requires a fight. You've got to say, this is who I am and this is what I'm going to do, like it or not. And it brings them together. There's a bond there that says you had the guts to pull yourself together, girl, and come on out. And they like that. New faces come, new faces go. It's sort of sad because you realize you almost forget that they were even here. They come and go so fast, and they can be so popular one season, 1 month, one night, and then they're just literally gone. There seems to be a lack in the sense of longevity in this community. They don't seem to think forward. It's here and now. It's tonight, it's my drugs, it's my party, my scene and my performance. And I'll think about tomorrow when it comes.
You know, one thing leads to another in life. If you asked me like 6 years ago, I never thought I'd be doing this. But I make short-term goals. I don't make long-term goals. I don't like to think about what am I going to want to do in 30 years and work towards something like that distant.
I think it's nice that there are so many different types of drag queens around to show the diversity. They probably think that we're all old stodgy drag queens that need to, you know, go back to the closet because we belong to the old movies.
Right.
But, you know, and they have their own little world, and we have our own.
You have a dream, you know, everybody has a dream in their life, and when you conquer that, like going from a man and finally becoming a woman, you know, once that's done, what else is there to do? I mean, I just hope, you know, that she'll be happy. That's the, you know, and she's proven it to me so far.
I could be anything I want to be. I could be a he, I could be a she, I could be anything.
Be